Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for a very special Dark Side of the Ring Season 3 finale, the Steroids Trials review. This is where me and the beautiful, the lovely Miss Krssi Love, we review Dark Side of the Ring, and this is the finale, one of the biggest news stories in wrestling history, the Steroids Trial. Miss Krssi Love, how are you doing today?
I'm okay. Yourself? I'm loving this background. This is great for what we just watched, witnessed and whatnot. So this is perfect.
Just call me Jerry Mcdivot or SP3 Mcdivot, and call Miss Krssi Love Laura Bravetti or Miss Krssi Bravetti.
Yep.
We are here to talk about this. Was quite the talking heads on this edition
Yeah.
of Dark Side of the Ring, to say the least, and
hmm
quite a story to unpack. This is going back to 1993 when WWF was put on trial for steroids, and what a story, what a journey we went on with this edition of Dark Side of the Ring. But you guys know what to do as per usual on Friday for our final Dark Side of the Ring live review. Drop a thumbs up on this video, share this video with all your friends. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We got a couple of new subscribers from my appearance on the Wrestle Talk podcast earlier today with
Nice.
Luke Owen and Chris Van Vliet. So welcome to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, where we have these Dark Side of the Ring reviews, and we will be back most definitely for season 4. But we are here to walk you through the season 3 finale. We got a couple of our favorites in the live chat already. We got Connor Smith saying first. We got you, my boy Blue, saying no, you're not. I've been here since Wrestle Talk podcast ended. I love my boy, you, my boy Blue. He was like, I saw him in the live chat for the Wrestle Talk podcast. He was repping hard, saying that True
Nice.
Hill, that any of the Ultra Chat money needs to go for True Hill Heat buying Ring of Honor. That is the gimmick. Anybody who donates any super chat donations, I said from yesterday's Romeo report, this edition of Dark Side of the Ring review, Blunt Impact last night, as well as tomorrow, True Hill Heat 149. Any super chat donations is going to True Hill Heat buying Ring of Honor. So we had
ROH.
we had a couple of names thrown at us yesterday. Ring of Heels, Ring of Heat. What do you think we should go with, Miss Krssi
Ooh,
Love?
I love Ring of Hills.
I like the Ring of Heat, but we
Ring of
we
Heat.
will.
No, they both act. You can't go wrong with either one, though. They have both of them. I mean,
It's
Ring of Hill and Heat. I mean, I'm just saying, like.
There we go. There we go. They need a rebrand, so we are here for it. We also got my boy, fifth generation Carney, saying, "Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you are doing well." And we want to
Happy
hear from.
Friday. We made
Absolutely.
it.
We want to hear from you in the live chat. We want to hear what you thought about this episode of Dark Side of the Ring, what you thought about season 3 as a whole,
Mhm.
now that it is over. And of course,
Right.
it's a great time to become a part of the True Hill Heat community. We got the patreon.com/True Hill Heat. You can go up on there. Me and Jay News did our review of the G1 Climax 31. We got the True Hill Heat 149 post show tomorrow. But of course, tomorrow we're gonna start at a special time. I didn't get to talk to this about Krssi because she just jumped on before we went live. But so we got a special time, 12:05 p.m. Eastern
Okay.
time, because we got to work with our special guest, because Miss Krssi Love and myself will be going up against the Bailey and the Bird podcast. Jarrett Bailey makes his return to True Hill Heat,
Nice.
and Benjamin Raven, his co-host on Bailey and the Bird. We will be versing them in a fantasy wrestling draft, our third fantasy wrestling draft, and True Hill Heat is 0-2, ladies and gentlemen. So we are trying to break our losing streak. So I chose the best partner possible in Miss Krssi Love. And Miss Krssi, we're doing a special fantasy draft because of the news of the week, because of what we talked about on the Romeo report, what I talked about earlier on the Wrestle Talk podcast, what is definitely going to
happening right
be
now.
our top story tomorrow. Ring of Honor, we are doing an all-time Ring of Honor draft, so anyone who has worked in Ring of Honor, or contracted or appeared on
Mhm.
Ring of Honor, we are able to draft tomorrow. What do you think about that?
I'm excited. I can't wait. Me and we're gonna talk about this and get our strategy together.
We are here, we are here,
Gonna come up with a
and
plan.
we're gonna try to wrap this up in about an hour or hour and change, because you can jump, guys. I know Blue, he likes to jump from YouTube channel to YouTube channel to support the True Hill Nation, but you can support Miss Krssi Love, as we're gonna spoil it for you. She's the surprise guest on Wrestling Daily. It is Black History Month in the UK, and Alex McCarthy has been co-hosting every Friday with Black content creators, and he said he needed a female for the final
Oh,
one. And out of everyone, he was like, I need my girl Miss Krssi Love. After her
oh.
Tessa Blanchard promo the last time she was on Wrestling Daily, he was like, let me get her right over here to be on the show. So join Miss Krssi Love 3 p.m. Eastern time over on the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel.
Leave it to Tessa to give me all the heat, right?
All the
Great.
heat. Gotta fan yourself with all that heat. We got a
I
couple
don't care.
of
I want the smoke, so it's okay. Bring
we
it
got a
on.
couple of others joining us in the live chat. Godless Scummer, thank you for joining us. You're a new name I haven't seen in the chat, so I hope you're hitting that subscribe button as well. We got Connor Smith saying the G1 Climax. You mean the Miss Krssi Love Strong Style Tournament? Absolutely.
Even though
Absolutely.
my boy got injured, but that's enough. We'll talk about that on the show.
We will. We will. You my boy Blue saying 0-2. Y'all gotta get it together. Yes, we're gonna get
We
off the
will. Okay.
schneid.
Yep.
We're getting off the shine tomorrow. And then Godless Scummer saying, kind of wish Vice had allowed them a 2-hour special for this one, because I think there's so much to this story that couldn't be
Yeah.
fit into one episode. I definitely agreed. And Godless Scummer, see, that's what I'm talking about. Just
Thank
subscribe.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Always appreciate the love. But let's get to it. Let's talk about this episode, the Steroid trial. We are in the courtroom and we are ready to discuss. The show started out throughout the 80s and the 90s. The WWF was a merchandising machine running on the back of the immortal one, Hulk Hogan. News broke that Vince McMahon pushed steroids on his wrestlers and goes into the talking heads, and what a batch of talking heads we got on this one. The government wanted to make an example out of Vince, and he faced 8 years in prison. Paranoia also set in as everyone was under scrutiny. JR had a quote where he said, the federal government came to take down pro wrestling business. Little did they know they had to deal with the wordsmith himself, the best lawyer this side of Johnny Cochran,
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Mcdivot, and Vince McMahon, who promptly kicked their ass. Let's go into this. We start off with the aforementioned Jerry Mcdivot, super lawyer for WWE, as he shows us his office, all his memorabilia, all his pictures with Vince McMahon. He mentions he has been working with WWE for 30 years, ranging from the Chris Benoit issue to the unfortunate death of Owen Hart. JR tells us Jerry is one of the most intelligent men he has ever met, and he would reach out to Jerry to save his ass if he needed a lawyer. We also see Wade Keller of the Pro Wrestling Torch is next, and he was on site for the entire McMahon steroid trial, and you saw how young he was when he was there covering everything. What did you think about the office of Jerry Mcdivot?
I mean, nothing that I'm not surprised about. He's a celebrity attorney, so of course he's gonna have a hope. He has a belt that has, like, of course he's gonna be that guy and have all these pictures. Like, I didn't think of anything of like less than what we saw.
Nothing less than the best with Jerry
Right.
Mcdivot. Next is my Uncle David, Uncle Dave Meltzer. He says he is, of course, the publisher for the Wrestling Observer newsletter. You knew he had to be a part of this one, of course. And he starts strong by saying Vince is nowhere near where he is today if you take Hulk Hogan out of the picture. He calls Hogan one of the biggest stars in the history of wrestling, and the 80s boom exploded on his back. We then meet Joe Arizzi, who is the host of the Pro Wrestling Spotlight. Calls himself just I just wanted to find that funny, our former home for the True Hill Heat
Yep, the
YouTube channel
spotlight. Yep.
for the long time one. Yeah, that guy that I used to work with on Facebook, he stole the name from this guy. Just wanted to mention that. Calls
Oh.
himself a wrestling historian and talks about wrestling becoming more cartoonish with massive human beings like Ultimate Warrior and the Wardlow, and we meet the
The Warlow, yeah.
Warlord, Terry Spokolsky, and this is quickly becoming one of my favorite episodes on the Talking Heads alone. He flexes for us, and John tells us that an estimate of 90% of the wrestlers were on steroids. Steroids were legal if provided as a prescription by a doctor, and then we get into the doctor, the famed doctor. WWE had a doctor for those type of situations in Dr. Joe's Saronian, excuse me. John tells us Dr. Saronian was assigned to ringside at all the shows in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where they did their TV tapings, and he was even used as, talking about certain like injuries for the wrestlers. It was his job as a state rep to make sure the wrestlers were healthy, quote unquote. Wardlord tells us that the good doctor had a medical bag with all kinds of steroids, pain pills, and whatever else they needed. Like a candy shop was his exact words. We also meet Brian Blair next, and he talks about the pressure to look the best you can and do all you can to keep your spot. Even a promo with him with the Killer Bees talking about Hogan trying to help him get more muscles because he was looking kind of small. Steroid abuse was in all sports, as we see news articles and news footage of Olympians being stripped of their medals, and there was a lot of hysteria about steroids, and it was viewed as athletes using them for a reason they weren't created. But steroids never had to be labeled with the side effects. It wasn't until 1990 when the Anabolic Control Act was passed, and steroids became a controlled substance, which distributing and trafficking was similar to doing the same with cocaine. What did you think about these early thoughts about how steroids became an enemy of pro sports athletes?
It was something that no one really like looked upon until something had to happen to someone probably and said, hey, something is not right with this. Let's look more into this. It's always one key thing that, and they didn't really get to speak on like how about like how it chimed into the like get to that point, but something had to occur to have like the government and everyone start to like look into these things, especially once you're making a lot of money and getting lots of popularity. Something is not right, and I think that's what any entertainment like football, all of these things happen, and it just so happened that the light had to be shined on wrestling.
Yes, wrestling was kind of the scapegoat of it all because it wasn't really exactly a sport, but they could still like enact this act against it. Connor Smith saying that Meltzer mullet is a national treasure. Yes, the old school Meltzer mullet was great stuff.
I seen him, I was like, what? I'm like, I mean, the ill curly mullet too.
It was all over there. Godless Scummer saying John Arezzi is a very underrated figure in wrestling history. All wrestling podcasts and wrestling fan conventions owe a debt to Arezzi. I agree with you. We also owe a debt because if it wasn't for the early pioneers of wrestling podcasters, True Hill, he wouldn't probably be here. So I have to definitely give him credit because he's a trendsetter indeed. Connor Smith saying without the steroids, there would have been they would have been called the Bees, not the Killer Bees, but the Bees. Remember to keep putting in those thoughts in the live chat. Super chat donations are always appreciated. Helps out the channel a lot and helps out the True Hill Heat Fund to buy Ring of Honor as well.
I don't even remember the Killer Bees, to be honest.
You don't?
No,
I remember
I
part
remember
of the
guy
that
was in the Killer Bees, but I don't remember that group.
I remember them a part of like the early tag team division. Everybody kind of paled in comparison in the 80s to like Heart Foundation, British Bulldogs, and the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. But they were a part of that team. They were part of that next level down to me, like with the Fabulous Rude Joes, those kind of guys.
Yes. Because he kind of remind me of like one of the guys. But I was like, no, that thing he's one. Isn't one of them dead and the Mountie he's still alive?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Because
You're
I was
right.
like, he looks like the other one though, but it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, he looks like the one that passed away that was
Correct.
with the
Correct.
Mountie. I
Yes.
agree.
Yes.
With the new law, the FBI targeted weightlifting coach Bill Dunn. He flips and makes a deal to give up his distributor, Dr. Zorian.
Dum
We
dum dum.
hear the wiretap. This is some good shit. You hear the wiretap that Dunn wore when he had a meeting with Zorian. A federal official mentions what is happening to a colleague who happened to be tied to WWE,
Yep.
and he quickly lets Vince McMahon know. The feds probe Zorian's office, and on the wall is the famous photo that we have put up as our as our lead here for this episode,
Oh
with
gosh.
Zorian between Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon. The evidence starts to build and
He
is
looks like
leading.
the mad scientist though.
Like, I put these guys in the shop and I made them large. I injected them with steroids and
Yep.
became Dr. Frankenstein.
That's when the Law and Order thing comes. Dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yo,
dun, 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 dun. Yep, that was like dun,
that's
dun.
that. Dun, dun.
So the
That part of
evidence
the
is
episode.
we should have thought ahead and got that as one of our clip beats.
It's all right. We got the courtroom background. It's still good. It's no problem. It's okay.
Exactly. The evidence starts to build and is leading to WWE's doorstep. Blair says he had a knock on his door, and it's the FBI who asks him about 3 packages he got from Dr. Zorian.
How did that? Yeah, right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
They knew what was
Somebody.
inside as they were seizing packages at the FedEx mail center and took pictures before repacking and sending it off. Damn, that's crazy. They knew what was in there, nigga.
Right. And mind you, these are the early 90s. Like, this is before like all of this whole like what we have right now. Can you imagine? This is in the early
imagine
90s.
Amazon just leaving it on your front door. You ain't there, and then the FBI just pull up and just like,
just take. Yep, thank you. Let me take
you got this. You ordered this, nigga.
Yep.
They made Blair a deal to testify against Zorian, and they would leave him alone, and that was good enough for Blair. He was like,
say less, son.
I'll snitch on him and get me off that. Hulk Hogan was also one of the 5 wrestlers that was set. Keyword set to testify against Zorian.
You gotta do the air quotes.
That's when we went to commercial break. But when we came back, this is when the wordsmith started whipping us into a frenzy, tying us in knots. Jerry Mcdivot is enlisted to get Hulk Hogan a excuse from testifying. Jerry says the government wanted a high-profile trial to show people they meant business with steroids. He knew they would get the 10 counts on Bill Dunn to stick. He says none of the wrestlers did anything wrong. Roddy Piper was at the Zorian trial, but Hulk Hogan was given a pass. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go back in time and get a picture of Roddy Piper and put that motherfucker next to Hulk Hogan. How is he at the trial, but Hulk Hogan isn't? That's
how
all you gotta say.
That's that you that guy. He was that guy, and no one can touch him.
Mcdivot magic. That Mcdivot magic.
And then when he even speaks about like how he got him out, pay that man all the money that you need to pay that man. Pay him.
He deserves it. Mcdivot says Hogan had a doctor-patient relationship due to him and his wife consulting with Zorian about fertility issues, and putting him on the stand would get into his medical privacy right. This is just smart shit. This is just brilliant stuff.
You can't speak about someone if they're having fertility issues. That's private. Which is actually very true. I didn't really think about that. I was like, he's actually right. You're not supposed to talk about someone's you can't embarrass him. Oh, he's this big star. They can't make no baby. Oh, shame, sin, off with their head.
I was just like amazed by this. I was like, that is a brilliant thing. Like
So why
doctor
didn't you
patient privilege. That was
right.
brilliant.
So
Brilliant by me,
why
Devin.
didn't you get the other 5 wrestlers that I don't why did Roddy Piper have to be there? Because he was still big. I mean, he wasn't as big as Hulk Hogan, but he was still a big star back then. I mean, like, come on. But
I would have thought he would have done that, but
I
apparently
Roddy Piper that but there's always some things with him and Roddy Piper anyway, so that's another story.
that is true. That is true. They had their own little situation going on there. We got a couple of comments that we can highlight here. We got Frantic World joining us saying, "What's up, SP3 Krssi in the chat? What's going on, good brother?" Fifth generation Carney saying McMahon had to give Roddy a bag for that.
Probably
Godless
so.
Godless Cover saying the Laps fan had one of the creators of Darkseid on last night. Apparently, they tried to get Dr. George Zorian for an interview for this episode, but he declined. I don't blame him. Don't blame him at all. Beat Boop says Hogan is slick. No, Jerry McDevitt is
It's
slick.
slick.
He
Yeah, no,
just he
Hogan was just mainly advised that you don't need to even show up. You're fine.
You're
It's
fine,
the
brother.
lawyer.
You're fine, brother.
Yeah.
Connor Smith saying Hope couldn't get it up because of those steroids, brother. Frantic World says I watched this
Wow.
episode this morning and it was like watching a Dateline episode.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the best way to put it, I will
Definitely
say.
a Dateline episode. Definitely one.
CM Chris in the UK saying evening SP3 Miss Krssi Love in chat. How are you all having a crab day? Hopefully this will make me feel better. I
I'm
hope you feel
sorry. I
better,
hope you
brother.
feel better too.
Don't worry, you're just joining us. We got a bunch of jokes on this episode alone,
Yeah.
so we hope
Yeah,
we get put a smile on your face. And CM Chris, I know you do a lot of great work over on Wrestling Daily. You got this beautiful, lovely Miss Krssi Love as the special guest of Alex McCarthy at 3 p.m., 8 p.m. your time. So Krssi will have a rant that will keep you laughing, sir. Phil Mushnick is here next. He was a writer for the New York Post, and boy, oh boy, I was ready to hear this guy. He hates
them with a passion.
The feeling is mutual. Vince McMahon hates him. The whole Vince McMahon documentary that they're doing for Netflix, it's all about slandering Phil Mushnick. Phil Mushnick is the antagonist of the biopic that they're doing on him.
Really?
Yes, he hates him. Hates him with the passion. So he's gonna rage and crusade against the WWE in this one. He has had it out for wrestling for decades, as he feels he is on some righteous quest to rid the world of professional wrestling in a lot of people's mind. He immediately starts by saying Hogan was excused because it may hurt his career, and he thinks it should have hurt Hogan's career. He said that's the whole point. Mcdivot brings up
he wanted them to lose he wanted them to lose. That's all of it was. He wanted them just to lose. That's it. With the passion. He didn't like any of them. And he didn't even know them. That's some strong hate.
Yes, McDevitt brings up the story of Ronald Reagan having to testify in the Oliver North case, and yet Hulk Hogan doesn't. And McDevitt hits back with the best response, and he shot back that maybe Reagan had the wrong lawyer. I wanted him to give the Michael Jordan, the guy from the Michael Jordan documentary. He was like,
that was a mic drop right there, though. That was definitely like. He didn't have the proper person that was in his corner.
Hey, not on me.
That's not my fault.
Exactly.
I do my job properly, as you can't see.
After 3 hours of deliberation, Zorian is found guilty, though nothing happens to the WWE. They did have to answer for Zorian selling drugs to Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon as they hold a press conference in 1991, and Vince tells the media the WWF will be a standard bearer for drug-free sports and entertainment. This is awesome. This is just Vince McMahon at his finest. The steroid policy is announced the same night night, Hulk Hogan appears on Arsenio Hall, and boy, oh boy, this was incriminating shit, to say the
Yes,
least.
yes, yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
McDevitt says he can't say what he told Hogan because that is between him and his client. Hogan admits to using steroids 3 times in the early 80s for a bicep injury and continues by saying he is not a steroids user or abuser. Nigga, you literally
You just
said
said, yeah,
you use steroids. That makes you, quote unquote, a
a
steroid
steroid
user.
user.
You might not be an abuser. You can say you're not an abuser, but you
Correct.
are a steroid user. If you use steroids, that's how it works. Like you can smoke a blunt 1 time. You're not a pothead. You're not a marijuana enthusiast like Chris G, but you
You
are a
are
marijuana user.
because you did it.
You did it once. That makes you a user. Meltzer points out how bad it made Hogan look, and nobody believed him. Apparently, Vince told Meltzer that he told Hogan to just come clean and tell the truth. Vince was called to answer for a range of scandals on the Phil Donahue show with a panel that included Meltzer and John Arezzi. And this is still, it still blows my mind that Vince would agree.
Agreed to go on Phil Donahue. I was like, he really went on that show? Like, what? That couldn't happen right now. You know, he ain't going nowhere. Like, who said it was a great idea to go on the Donahue show? And look what happened to him.
I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling to see him up there next to Dave Meltzer
Nope.
as well.
That part, directly next to him.
Arezzi catches Vince in a lie, and Dave is quick to point out the lie, as well as the audience laughs at all of this when he brings up that what Vince said directly to Meltzer, and Vince says, "I didn't say that," and Meltzer was like, "No, those are the exact words you said."
Okay, let me
Vince
drop this bomb for y'all real quick.
ahead.
It's just like the Real Housewives. If most of you guys probably don't watch it, but I am an avid housewife watcher. And what happened to Vince McMahon is just like one of the ladies, like, who said that? You did. Like, we got the receipts. I seen you. So Dave Meltzer was one of the petty housewives. Was like, you said that. He snitched on. He was one of the like petty housewives that be like fighting people. That was Dave Meltzer. That was Dave Meltzer.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I just love how Dave just naturally was just like, no, that's what you said. That's what you said, my dude. Apparently,
you didn't say that. Yes, I did. Yes, you did.
Apparently, 2 gentlemen went to Arezzi's apartment and told his mother to let John know he lives in a dangerous neighborhood. Mcdivot basically calls this bullshit, as he says the problem with these guys is they have a vivid imagination. He says, he says, and I quote, "Nobody would care enough about John Arezzi to send black suited guys to his house." Oh my God, Mcdivot was
just dropping the like.
I love
He wasn't that much of an important
person.
Yeah, he wasn't important of them to like waste time and send people over there.
He's like, why would they do that?
Yeah.
Who is that? McDevitt goes on about Phil writing hit pieces on the WWE and how he said Vince was worse than Hannibal Lecter. We get a back and forth between Phil and Jerry, and it's fucking awesome. It's fucking great. This is some of the best stuff. Phil Mushnick and Jerry McDevitt. These are the 2 guys that are running away. This is like LeBron and KD having MVP seasons in the NBA. This is like when Steve McNair and Peyton Manning had MVP season in the NFL. This is like LeBron versus Carmelo for Rookie of the Year. Like, this is just a runaway. These 2 guys were just going back and forth,
jab for jab, jab for
jab. Jerry was in WWE HQ, and on April 2nd, the subpoena started coming, and Vince asked Jerry to represent him. Jerry knew the subpoena meant a witch hunt was coming, and
that word came in. I was like, I wonder where that comes from. Who does that come from, guys?
You tell us.
No names.
You tell us, ladies and gentlemen. Godless Scummer saying Mushnick had said a lot of nasty things about wrestling fans in the past as well. Oh yeah, Mushnick hates us. He hates us, ladies and gentlemen.
How do you like wrestling? Like he wants to spit on us. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't He doesn't understand why we like wrestling.
He wouldn't spit on us if we were on fire. Beep boop. Okay, maybe Hogan isn't slick after all. No, he is not. Connor Smith says that one Booker T quote is very fitting here. Love that. Hail Steven, our boy, is here with us saying, hell no, you ain't smoking weed every day of the week. Nope, not anymore for me. Fifth Generation says, I remember watching this Arsenio Hall live as a kid. What an embarrassing watch. It was even worse watching it. It felt like I was watching the Surviving R. Kelly documentary when they were on the BET show together, him and Aaliyah. Like I was like, why didn't this resonate with me as much as it does now?
Because we were much smaller, you know. Now, as you look back, he's like, and I remember him. I don't remember watching the show vividly, but I remember hearing about it. And then we get to watch the episode. And I was like, you can clearly tell he's lying. Like, Arsenio, you knew he was lying too. Shame on you to have him on your show. Why ain't going Jay Leno on the other people damn show?
Arsenio was like, thank you for your time. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to go to commercial break. Hill Stevens saying, hey, yo, Meltzer, Keller, and Krssi in one episode. Yeah, this was just a banger of historians on this episode who knew the deal and were there.
They lived through it, yep.
Godless Scummer says that Donahue show is on YouTube. It wasn't just about steroids, but about the Ring Boy scandal as well. Ooh, you just gave me my next YouTube search.
Right, I'm going. Wait, what ring? What is? Wow. Okay, great. All right, now we gotta go look at that. Okay.
Frantic World says Hulk Hogan and Vince take an L for going on talk shows. Absolutely. What did you think was going to get out of that?
Yep.
We also get Fifth Generation saying both shake your head, hilarious situations, Beep Boop. Yes, indeed. Oh yeah, Beep Boop bringing up with it, Hogan choked out Richard Belzer too. He seemed to be really bad as a TV guest. That is to say the least. And then Heel Stevens says, we need a Mcdivot shirt on PWTs. Yes, I will say the line you need on the shirt because we are coming up to it. But the grand jury investigation begins, and Jerry told Vince to hunker down as they were going to look for anything to get a conviction or at minimum some kind of plea to a lower charge. Mcdivot wanted to learn everything he could about steroids as knowledge was key. Phil says that McMahon accused him of being an FBI informant, and Meshnik basically confirms this. He was like, "Yep, they come to me for information, and I give it to them."
I guess I am an informant then.
You
really cannot stand them, like you. Man, you know what you're doing. Something like, come on, stop lying, yo. I guess I am. No, you are.
So call a spade a spade. It is what it is. Mcdivot says the media demonizes the target to build sympathy, and in exchange, the FBI gives the media inside sources. Phil's version is that he is an informant in the sense he writes something and the FBI reads it just like any other reader. I'm just doing my job. Phil says that McMahon had him trailed to get dirt on him, and he even had drinks with one of the guys, and he told the guy he smoked a lot of pot in college, so run with that. I do drugs too. I smoke weed every day, so tell your boss that. The feds turned to Vince McMahon's limo driver, James Stewart, who they put on screen, did not want to be interviewed for this episode, who is going to testify that he delivered steroids to Hulk Hogan directly. Mcdivot is asked why Stewart didn't testify on the stand, and Jerry says it was due to Stewart suing WWF for something else, and Mcdivot caught him dead to rights committing perjury. Mcdivot is a goat. He's a goat.
He's that man. He's that.
He was like, I'm gonna take this guy. I'm gonna take this guy out. You can't testify. Get out of here. The government wasn't dumb enough to put someone who committed perjury on the stand. And like I said, it says James Stewart nor his representatives could be reached for comment for this episode. The WWF overhauls the wrestlers you see on television at the time. JR says Vince wanted to push younger stars, and Wade Keller tells it like it is. He says Vince didn't want a leaner Hogan Hogan as his main star. Hogan ended up leaving the WWF in November 1993. The hammer drops as Vince McMahon gets indicted. Jerry and Vince get the news while walking in a restaurant, seeing it on TV, and he says everyone cheered for Vince as they wanted him to kick the government's ass. And Mcdivot says they were happy to get their day in court to get this over with once and for all. What did you think about that reenactment of the scene as they're walking into the restaurant?
Because I can believe that really did happen. I think I think that's classic because wrestling stars were like, "Yeah, come on, you got this." Especially if they were like trying to come after a sport that people really loved and they didn't understand, like they didn't consider it a sport. You understand?
Yeah.
So I can definitely see them actually like walking in this and like, oh, the lawyer's like, "Oh, this is nothing. We got this." Like,
you got this, Vince. You got this. We're rooting you on. We're rooting you on the entire way. It was like all the R. Kelly fans that were outside of his court case.
Definitely.
I'm not saying neither one of those people did it, but I mean, R. Kelly is in jail. The trial is a circus, as you would expect, and we see photos of a young Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon. Vince shows up in a neck brace. Everyone thinks it is for sympathy. Meltzer calls Vince the babyface in the fans' eyes, and Mcdivot says the brace was real, as Vince did have neck surgery, and he opted to have surgery during the trial because he wasn't on WWF TV during that period. Oh yeah, just a coincidence. It wasn't for the jury to find sympathy in me, but it did. It worked.
I mean, I think it worked. I think it was a great work.
work. Sean O'Shea is leading the prosecution team, and among the wrestlers set to testify is Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. Mcdivot's relationship with Hogan meant he could be kicked off the case completely, but you aren't pulling one over on Mr. Mcdivot. So Laura Bravetti is hired to represent Vince McMahon personally, so she could cross-examine Hogan, and also with Mcdivot representing WWF. So he tells us why this is beneficial to them. He says it would let them get 2 openings and 2 cross examinations, and this is like next level shit. Like this is how you beat a case.
This is how you manipulate the people. Yep. This is how you manipulate it. Like he had the strategy. Like he was like, no, I'm going to represent the company. So there's no so we had like 2 cross, two of everything. So it kind of messes with the jury's minds. And that's exactly what he did. So
this is some smart man. Mind fuckery shit. Next level mind fuckery shit. Warlord is brought in, and he says the best thing he did was tell the truth. Vince never told him he didn't have a job if he didn't take steroids, and he tells us he never bought steroids from Zorian because he charged 4 times what he could get them from someone else.
Sounds like a real I'm not gonna go to this guy because his weed is too high. So I'm gonna go to this guy because
he got the good stuff, but he's charging much cheaper. I'm gonna go with them. I can go to the guy who's charging $50 for a quarter, or I can go to the guy who's charging $25.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 25, friend.
It's the same shit.
He's like, yeah, his stuff was too high. He dead said that. He was like, yeah, his stuff was too expensive. I'm not buying his stuff. Like, I'll get my drugs elsewhere, off the market.
I'll spend my good money somewhere else, sir. Mcdivot says that was the problem with the government's case, as a lot of wrestlers admitted to getting steroids before even coming to the WWF. Warlord calls the whole thing a witch hunt. Once again, we hear that saying.
That word.
Next, we have someone who did want to incriminate WWF in Nails. This was someone that my wife herself said that always scared her as a kid. What was your thoughts of Nails as a kid?
Nails I thought he was a former person that just got out of jail. Like he escaped from prison. Like they made it seem like he did. He was like a crazy person. Like I didn't like him as a character. I thought he was like trash. I was very scared of him. Like, and he looked scary. Like he played his role. He looked like he just came out of like the institution. And now he's out, or he escaped, or whatever. But I mean, he played his position very well.
Indeed. Got a couple of comments here. Connor Smith says, we all need to thank Eddie Murphy for bringing our city to America. Great comment there. Great comment there. Hill Steven says, low key, I was looking forward to this episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Me as well.
Mhm.
Godless Scummer saying, if you're not familiar with the Ring Boy scandal, I am, but not too many people are. It might make a good episode of Dark Side if they get a season 4. I believe they are getting a season 4
Yeah,
for
you're
sure.
definitely getting one. Definitely.
He said, "Be warned, it's a very triggering subject, though, and yes, and it involves Pat Patterson, so it's a lot. It's a lot. Yes, we got
We gotta figure that out some kind of way.
Frantic World says, I look up the Ring Boy scandal, and it's about Terry Garvin. Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot involved in this. Yeah, Mel Phillips as well was involved in it.
Ooh,
Fifth Generation says Mcdivot is definitely the best worker on the WWE payroll. That is saying it lightly. Um,
for sure.
Frantic World says Vince looked so stupid with the neck brace on. He did indeed.
He definitely
Uh,
did.
Heel Steven says this episode of Dark Side of the Ring is also a masterclass for any up and coming individual who wants to attend law school. Yes, it gave you a lot
Mm.
of stuff that was
Mhm.
good for you.
Mhm.
One of
Mhm.
our favorites here, EBB, saying, "Hey, you guys, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're doing well as well, good brother." And then Godlet's Scummer saying, "Nails was created to be a foil for the big boss man." Yes, that was why he did the whole prison garment and everything, which was a part of this whole story here.
Yeah. Mhm.
Nails gives his testimony and tells the jury Vince ordered him to take steroids. Mcdivot showed the jury a video of Nails performing, and he was a guy covered in an orange prison suit. So why would they need him to be ripped? Also, why risk it at a time Vince knew feds were looking at him on a
Mhm.
guy that doesn't even show his body? The defense then asks Nails if he has any animosity towards Vince, and he answers no. Meltzer then brings up that Nails. They mentioned Nails didn't know what animosity
What do you
meant,
mean? Mhm.
so they asked him if he hated Vince. To that, he replied, "Yes."
Yes. I rest my case, Your Honor. Thank you. No further
No
questions.
further questions.
No
No
further
further.
questions. Thank you. Thank you
That
so much.
is
I'm gonna go sit down. Thanks.
that is one of the most awesome things of analysis or a commentary from a court case that I've ever heard. Someone
Yep.
asks you, "Do you have animosity towards this person?" No.
No.
Do you hate this person? Yes.
Yes. Thank you. No further questions, sir. I'm gonna go sit down. Thanks.
This this is like this. We need court TV. We need court
Or
TV.
t-
We
This should have
need
been on.
video.
Yes. 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 Back then, they
Uh,
didn't. They didn't. I mean, I think they didn't start really going into like crime, like the courtrooms to like the OJ thing, right?
yeah, that's true.
And that was 94.
95, yeah,
Yeah. So
90.
it was like right
It
after.
ended in like 95, but like it started in 94. Yeah.
So yeah, but
Uh,
they didn't start going and having like those whole like court cases until that trial. Damn, this is one of the trials they should have been a freaking part of.
it was just a year earlier. Come on, y'all. We see video of Ultimate Warrior leaving the court, and he tells the whole thing is weak, and credits
Which
Vince
one
for
did?
taking wrestling to heights it had never
It might as
seen.
well.
The prosecutors are desperate, so they bring in Zorian from his prison cell to testify against Vince. His testimony keeps referencing a letter, which nobody on the defense has ever seen. So the judge orders it to be turned over. McDevitt reads the letter from Zorian as he was passed around to various solitary confinements for 44 days, and then gets asked about his relationship with Vince in respects to steroids. Zorian has no clue what they are talking about, so they throw him into another hellhole. And this all just makes Vince McMahon look like the biggest babyface
Mm-hmm.
of all time to the jury. They bring George back again and have a recording of him speaking to Dunn about selling steroids to a kid. And now George remembers a meeting with Vince McMahon. The
Way
soul,
the tamper with the witness.
just sprinkle some of
Mm-hmm.
that prosecution
Mm-hmm.
salt on it.
Mm-hmm.
The sole conversation was George selling steroids to wrestlers, and Vince never told him to stop. Dr. Zorian denied his treatment was malicious and it didn't affect his testimony.
Yep.
What did you think about this whole ordeal with Dr. Zorian?
That, again, a way like the person just said, this is a great thing for new attorneys, people that are in law school, things like that, because this is there's so many crimes that are happening within this case. You're tampering with evidence, you're tampering with the witness, you're manipulating the witness's answers or things that he's supposed to say to make y'all win the case. It's so many things that are happening, but it just shows you like how good of an attorney what you call it is, because
Jerry McDevitt.
Mcdivot is just like, how could he really know anything when he's just been, all over the place? Like he has no credibility to this thing. He was there, but he wasn't there by Vince's choice. If they wanted to buy something from him, like Vince never said, "Hey, sell this." There's no agreement. There's one letter, and that letter is like not even good. Like it just shows you like he got that thrown away.
He was like, I got that out of here.
Yeah,
That was it.
like that didn't make no sense. He was like, he wasn't that credible. He was like, he was passed around all these solitary confinements. So of course your mind is all gonna be all over the place. It was a downward stream after that, man. I think it was going down like I think that's why the person declined not even be a part of this, because he knew he was messing up the what's the name? Not Carter.
Dr. Zorian.
No, not Dr. Zorian. The prosecutor.
Oh yeah, Sean O'Shea.
O'Shea, yes, Mr. O'Shea. He declined not to even be a part of this documentary because what they did was a sham.
Yes, Beep Boop says it's a beautiful disaster.
Mm-hmm.
That is the best way to put it. Emily Feinberg, Vince's assistant, was brought to testify and was cross-examined by Bervetti. Meltzer marvels at the cross-examination, as Bervetti had a response for everything Emily said. He never thought about it until he learned her husband was a reporter representing himself as working for 60 Minutes. Phil wouldn't even give him any information and call 60 Minutes, who stated he wasn't even a producer. The husband was pumping Emily for information for a possible book deal and then relaying it to his wife. Mcdivot denies all and says if there was a witness tampering, it would have been brought out on the stand. He's like, if it ain't happening in court, I ain't do it. Vince addressed the allegations on air on WWF television, which was crazy to me, and crushed the yellow journalists that have been pushing lies and witness tampering. Gentlemen, is that the best you can do? Right. What did you think about this moment by Vince? He's just great. Just great. And everything he does, he's just fantastic.
So like I was like, you didn't even have to do this, to be honest. You didn't have to go on WWF television and say, hey, this is what's going on, or like you didn't have to speak about this. Like, as your attorney you're doing fine. Like, you don't have to like comment on these things. It wasn't even necessary, but him being in character and have to like control everything, he has to now speak about it. So it's typical Vince. Typical Vince.
He's always gotta do the character work. He's always gotta be on point with that. I mean,
did he have on his neck brace in that video?
Did he have on his neck brace?
I don't think he had the neck brace on in the video.
No, I don't know. I gotta go back and watch that. Someone let me know.
Yeah. I don't think he had the neck brace. I was like, if he was in character, I don't think he really had it on. I don't remember, but I damn, now we have to go back and check. I'm gonna go back and check. I didn't delete the episode yet, so.
Oh, okay. There you go. We're gonna confirm this. We'll tell you tomorrow on True Hill Heat.
I definitely will tell you on True Hill Heat tomorrow. Yes.
A couple of comments we got here. We got Connor Smith saying they could do many things for season 4. Marty Jannetty, Chris Adams, Ricky Dozen. Yes, that's a good one. Chris Candino, Abdullah and Hepatitis, Black Saturday, Terry Gordy, Hardbody Harrison. I could go on. Yeah, there's a lot.
Wow, those are some good ones.
Oh, wow. And Fifth Generation confirming that there was no neck brace.
See what I'm saying? It's a work, son. It was a work. For sure it was a work. Thank you, Fifth Generation. Appreciate
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. So we're going on with this episode. Dr. Zorian sold steroids in PA, and basically they but the prosecutors had to prove steroids were being sold in the Eastern District, since Vince was indicted on Long Island. Phil has no clue why they indicted Vince there and not
Mm.
in Connecticut, where all the
All the
paper
paper.
trails led.
He was a hater, son. Yo, he was a hater. I mean,
Okay.
he is from Connecticut, so I didn't understand why it was. I mean, like he had a
He's like,
point.
he's like, yo, connect the dots. If you can't connect the dots, my dude ain't did it. They tried to prove a driver delivered steroids to Hulk Hogan in Madison Square Garden or Nassau Coliseum, but the
Mm-hmm.
dates never match when Hogan was in either place. Yo, he's
When
just getting y'all on
yo,
technicality after technicality. He's like, nope, he wasn't there that
it's
date. What you talking
impossible.
about?
Yeah, it was impossible for a driver to drive somewhere if he wasn't even in. He was even in the state. He
I
wasn't
don't
even
even
there.
I don't even know what you're talking about. That charge was tossed out, and Dave Meltzer wonders why that charge was even there in the first place. Hogan is next on the stand, and he was granted immunity for anything that he admitted to as far as his steroid use. By this time, Hogan was already signed with WCW, and there was a rift with Vince, so everyone assumed he was going to bury Vince. Dun dun dun.
Yep.
Showtime as Hulk Hogan is put on the stand. Hogan is the star witness of it all, and he's the one that can seal the deal and send Vince to prison. We get the audio of Hogan on Torch Talk, and he says if they were going to put Vince in jail, then all of wrestling needed to go. You know,
Mhm.
he didn't sell them, he didn't inject them, like he didn't do it. Keller tells Hogan shocked everyone. Keller says that Hogan shocked everyone as he framed it that he and Vince were gym buddies and they would
Mhm.
exchange steroids with each other. That doesn't make Vince a drug dealer. I mean, once again, Hogan is admitting that he's done steroids, and he's also admitting that Vince does steroids as well.
Well, we knew Vince was doing steroids for sure because it was at one point that he was mad old and he was I mean ripped. He was like, "What the hell?"
See, I think the problem is that they're prosecuting him on the conspiracy, as we'll get into, because a lot of
Right.
people said that. Like, if they were just prosecuting him on his guys doing steroids, they're guilty because
He's
they
guilty.
admitted multiple times that all these guys are on steroids. But it's a part of the conspiracy. That's why he's getting charged. That's where they got him, because he was like, nope, you did the technicality. Nope, I'm gonna get you on this.
Yep.
Um, Jerry McDivitt says, and I quote, Hogan is the big dog, and when he walks in and says it was nothing to do with the conspiracy, there goes the whole case.
Mhm.
Hogan says
Mhm.
Vince didn't go to jail because of him. We also see Hogan walking out of the courtroom saying, buy the pay-per-view on Sunday, talking about Bash at the Beach 1994. Meltzer says Hogan's testimony helped Vince, but Vince didn't see it that way. He was very upset with Hogan even being on trial and testifying against him. Mcdivot is asked why he didn't have Vince testify, and Jerry asks, "What would Vince say?" They had nothing on him. Sean got nuclear in his closing arguments. Sean O'Shea, as he cut a heel promo basically on Vince, as he has no evidence and just wants to paint him as the devil.
It was a bad guy. Yep.
Meltzer calls it a great heel promo, and Keller sums it up as Sean saying Vince was using wrestlers as slabs of meat.
Yeah.
McDevitt gets emotional as he remembers seeing a young Stephanie crying in the hallway, and
Oh my. Oh
because
boy. Really, sir? Come on
remember, this
now.
is the same Stephanie McMahon that compared the 9/11 tragedy to the people trying to indict her father for steroids. Same Stephanie McMahon. So this added up to me when Devin is telling this story. I'm like, that's why she compared it to 9/11, because this was like the worst time of her life. Because of what Sean was saying about her father, Jerry calmed her down and says the best line of this episode. He says, "It's all sizzle, no steak. It's all icing and no cake." Oh, I was like, put that on a t-shirt. Put that on a t-shirt, ladies and gentlemen. That's on PWTs. I'm getting the Jerry McDivitt. You put McDivitt on the back and then the
Word.
catchphrase.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
all sizzle, no steak. All icing,
I said
no
no
cake.
cake. I'm buying it. I want it. Sell it to me right now.
That's it. That's it, ladies
I
and
need it
gentlemen.
on
I
a
want
hoodie.
that shirt. I want
I
that
want
on a
a
hoodie.
hoodie. I
I
want
want
it
it
on
on
a hoodie.
anything.
I don't even want a t-shirt. I want a hoodie. It's
Jerry,
hoodie season right now. I need it on a hoodie.
Jerry brings up that many of the wrestlers were taking Anavar, oral tablets that contain 2.5 milligrams of anabolic steroid and oxydone, and it was found later to be unfit for human consumption and was to be pulled from the market. It demonstrates how inept they were at regulations, and the jurors wanted to know if this was true. Sean didn't want it coming out. It hadn't been pulled like it was supposed to, and the judge told them that it wasn't removed from the market after looking it over. Jerry also framed it as a family business being picked on by the government, and Jerry says, and I quote, "Maybe I'm an optimist, but I didn't spend 1 minute of my life thinking about losing." This dude was just dropping bar after bar after bar on this. The jury deliberates, and Jerry says he could feel Linda's heart beating next to him. When the jury returned, he mentions in federal court, it is 90% that end in convention or settlement, and only 2.2 to 5% where someone is acquitted. He mentions that they didn't have to call a single witness, and it was a ballsy strategy, as either he is ingenious or he is a fucking idiot. The verdict against Vince first comes out not guilty, so they're very happy. You see the pop and everything. Mcdivot was worried they would stick WWF with something, but that didn't happen either. John Arezzi says the pop was huge in the courtroom. It was like Hulk Hogan won the WWF championship in Madison Square Garden. There is a courtroom drawing of Mcdivot's wall of him, Linda, and Vince hugging to a massive ovation from those in the court. Dave mentions all the guys were on steroids, but there was no conspiracy. The testimony proved what everyone knew, that everyone was on steroids. He's like, John mentions Vince only became more full of himself and he dodged a big bullet. We even see Vince on television with Mcdivot kind of bragging about it and shit. Like he's talking to the chick.
Rosanna Scott, yeah.
Rosanna Scott from Fox News. Now back to you, Rosanna.
You're just gonna have to find out.
Jerry wraps up and that they had dinner to celebrate, and he joked with Vince he could take the brace off now, and Vince did so and flamed it around his head, but then put it back on as he legit needed it. He calls his bond with Vince unbreakable. What they went through together proves lifelong loyalty, and nothing will break it. Easily, I would say, my favorite episode of season 3. This is like just off of Jerry Mcdivot. I can listen to Jerry Mcdivot talk for a full hour. This was great.
But also, when they got the case, Jerry took it upon himself to like study certain steroids and find out about steroids, because he was like, if I'm going to do this, I got to do this the right way. And he said, I started like to look into like certain steroids and like what are their usage and what is it that they do. That's why he's that guy. Like, your turn is not going to. He's going to tell someone else to go study these things. No, he did it himself.
I'm doing my due diligence. That's what due diligence is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. And Jerry Mcdivot did it. Like we all hear about Johnny Cochran all the time. Yes, I'm sorry, Jerry Mcdivot needs to be in this conversation as one of the greatest celebrity lawyers of all time.
Yep. Facts. I have nothing else to say. MVP.
Godless Scummer saying you can also add Chyna and Buck Zomoff as potential episodes. I do agree with that. But they did something with Chyna already. We reviewed that. Yeah. Only thing about Chyna is the closest people to her include those at the top of WWE now. Would they do the episode?
Hell no.
You say hard to say. I'm saying no, they won't.
I'm saying
having people closest to a lot of these episodes has been a great thing. Frantic World says, I want to see an episode on Sunny and Chris Candido.
Yes, Sunny would be good. Yes.
I agree there. Frantic World saying everybody did steroids back in the 80s and early 90s, 100%. Slam and Sammy Joe, True Heel merch, which Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. We might start putting merch like this. I might just put the Jerry Mcdivot Dark Side and put True Hill Heat Dark Side of the Ring reviews, and all sizzle, no steak, all icing, no cake. That's just a flex line right there. When McDivot said, "I have to learn everything about steroids to prepare for the future battle," he wasn't lying, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
what I'm saying. See, no one didn't. They didn't hear that little gem. He was like, "No, I'm going to learn any and everything about this thing so I can prepare myself for this case." And he said, "Vince McMahon didn't have to do anything. Just sit there. You don't have to do anything." And that's exactly what Vince did. He showed up. He sat, never said a word, and with the work of a neck brace.
Godless Scummer says, anyone else think that if Jerry McDivitt hadn't become a lawyer, that he would have been an excellent wrestling manager with the promos he can cut? Oh, 100% after this episode. 100%.
I see him as a general manager. I see him doing more than just being a man. Like he's a GM. He's doing more than just, being someone's mouthpiece for sure. For sure.
Absolutely. And Fifth Generation Carney saying, this was one of my favorite episodes because of all the legal stuff. The original Law and Order is one of my favorite shows, by the way. What episodes were you on again, SP3? I was on the episode. I don't know the number episode. I will go out of my way to look it up, but it was back in 2017 that I did the episode. I was just one of the background players, but I sat next to Ice-T and his partner in a diner. I was like sitting down next to him. So that's all I really remember. It was back in like 2017, 2018 or so. But and Connor Smith saying, if we're doing merch, let me get a t-shirt with Ness sleeping on it.
Harlem agrees.
Absolutely. Harlem's like, yes. Remember, guys, drop a thumbs up on this video, share it with your friends, hit the subscribe button if you are new. We're going to wrap things up with our MVP, LVP, and our rating for this episode, season 3 finale of Dark Side of the Ring. Miss Krssi Love, who was the MVP, talking head or a part of this whole story, the steroids trial?
MVP, of course. There's no
unanimous. Jerry McDivitt.
Uncle Jerry. He's Uncle Jerry now. He's Uncle Jerry, first of all. Just like how we
Jerry.
have
Uncle Jerome.
Uncle Jerome. He's Uncle Jerry for us. Sorry.
We got Uncle Jerome, we got Uncle Dutch, and now we got Uncle Jerry.
3 of them are all uncles.
The 3 uncles of Dark Side of the Ring. And Connor Smith agrees with us that MVP is McDevitt. Who's your LVP?
He put Hogan as his LVP.
I mean, after the Arsenio Hall scene, I don't.
You know what? I can agree with that. Yes, definitely. Go ahead, make him it. We can also make an honorable mention for the doctor that was giving the steroids at a high price. We can definitely give him with LVP.
Dr. Zorian, yeah, I would go with Dr. Zorian as my LVP because he went through the ringer.
It's his fault that they brought him in. I mean, they brought the whole wrestling involved in it. So yeah, he's the LVP.
Oh, this is a great idea here. Oh, I love he changed his name to All Sizzle Sammy Joe.
I love it though. That is good. That you got to keep it. That yeah.
That's great. He says, "How about a Krssi Love shirt saying I ain't got no time for fuckboys." I like that.
I love that one. Yes, thank you, Sammy. That is a good one.
That is a good one. That is a great idea.
I love how you spell fuckboy too. Great.
Yeah, absolutely. Got it. No E for true and no K for fuck. Absolutely. I'm gonna go with Dr. Zorian and Hulk Hogan as co-LVP. What about you, Krssi?
I can agree on that for sure. Yep.
And out of 10,
he lied and said, "Oh, I didn't do steroids, but I did take steroids." No, you
are a steroid user, Hogan. Like, get it through your head. Let's put our thumbs in the middle. Thumbs up or thumbs down for season 3 finale of Dark Side of the Ring in 3, 2, 1. And that is my daughter agreeing with us.
I would say Harlem agrees with us as well. She puts a thumbs up. She's not in the lens, but she's agreeing with us.
She's just singing up a storm in the background here. Out of 10, Out of 10, thank you. She's a beautiful singer.
Hmm.
Out of 10, what did you give this episode?
I give it a 10.
I got to give it a 9.5. I'm gonna go
Nine and a
nine
half.
and a half. Nine and a
Okay.
half. This was
Okay.
really good. Got to leave room for the perfect
Okay.
episode. So
Okay.
so that is
It's
our
only because of Uncle Jerry. That's why I feel like it was a 10. He was the 10. He was the gem for this whole episode, and I love that they saved it for the last one too.
absolutely the probably the MVP of the whole entire season. But yes, that is our ratings. That is our MVP, LVP for Dark Side of the Ring season 3 finale for the steroids trial. Miss Krssi Love, please let the people know where they can find you on social media and where you're going to be at 3 p.m.
I am going. Well, you can follow me on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook. It is Krssi Love underscore or just Krssi Love one. I am going to be on with Alex in a few minutes, about 20 minutes. We're going to be on for his show tonight. I'm very, very excited. Can't wait. And then you can catch us tomorrow morning, special time, which is 12:05. We will be doing our draft, which I'm a little nervous about, but I'm not nervous because I have a great partner. So we'll be good for that for True Hill Heat tomorrow. So please watch, subscribe, and put that notification up. But yes, I'll see you guys in a few minutes on with all Alex McCartney of Wrestle Talk, right?
Wrestling Daily,
Wrestling
absolutely.
Daily, yes.
Absolutely. And you can find me on the Twitter machine at True Heel SP3. You can also follow us on Patreon, $3 backer or more. Get exclusive True Heel Heat content like myself and Jay News with our G1 Climax 31 review over there on Patreon, as well as the Heel Season 1 review that we dropped this week on the channel. That is a preview of what we've been doing over on Patreon. We also did an NBA preview last week with me and Chris G. So there's a lot of great stuff over there. And of course, you can follow the gang on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Hill Heat. Of course, drop a thumbs up on this video, share this video with your friends, become a subscriber to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, and hit the bell to stay notified. 12:05 p.m. tomorrow, True Hill Heat 149. It is True Hill Heat versus the Bailey and the Bird podcast in our third fantasy wrestling draft. Can we get off of this 0-2 start and get our first win? Me and Krssi Love will represent True Hill Heat the only way we can. Shouts out to Frantic World. Shouts out to Godless Scummer, Connor Smith, CM Chris, Fifth Generation, who are all in the chat supporting us. Frantic World says, good review, guys. See you on the next one. Frantic World says, I really like season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely agree with you. All Sizzle Sammy Joe says, Chris G shirt says, not high enough for this. Love that. That's a great idea. Connor Smith
Everybody get a
says,
shirt now. They got their own slogan. It's great. I love it.
Connor Smith says, my favorite episode was Dynamite Kid, followed by Pillman. MVP of the whole season might even be Mcdivot, and LVP of the season is Methany by far. What was your favorite episode of season 3 to wrap things up, Krssi?
I definitely like the Pillman one. Definitely love the Pillman one. The Steroid one was a good one. And I love the Luna Vachon one. I think that was one of my favorites. Luna Vachon was definitely one of my favorites. So we had a good lineup this season for the finishing of out the season. I think it was really, really good. So
my personal favorite is probably Nick Gage, but the best episode was either Pillman or the Steroid Shot. They both ended this season very well.
Right.
But
They started and ended it very well. Yes.
for Miss Krssi Love, join her on the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel in less than 20 minutes. Go over there, and her and Alex will be talking about Charlotte Flair's backstage heat heating up and isolated, as well as the latest wrestling news. Catch us tomorrow, 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. For Miss Krssi Love, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our Dark Side of the Ring Season 3 finale, the Steroid Trials review. We are signing off until next